Now, if you would have talked to me 2 years ago, I would have said, hey, websites are dead. They're one of those things to where they're a business card. Maybe you don't have
Glorified brochure,
right.
right?
You don't have e-commerce. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars. You don't have to make sure you're doing all that because it's not a big piece of it. Everything else is picking it up. Well, AI came out, and now if you don't talk about what you do and what problems you solve on your website, you're left behind all of a sudden again. And we're just in this whole entire, what I call a tornado of marketing, where everything is changing. A lot of marketers want to stay old school and keep doing what they've been doing because it works and spend money on Google ads and all this different stuff. Well, it's all changing so fast. And if you don't keep up on it, your competition does, they're going to be light years ahead of you.
Okay. So the realization is it's here.
Yep.
You've got to evolve and innovate your messaging and where you are saying this message online, right? Because that's how people get found. So when we're doing this, it sounds like it's kind of this like monstrously expensive endeavor that I've got to redesign my website. I've got to make sure that I'm, having all the keywords and the citations and everything on these places and on social media and SEO. And I mean, yikes, how does a business owner ever know if they're doing this right?
They got to follow a playbook. They got to follow a blueprint that is going to be there. And it's a combination of what their designer is going to do inside of their website piece. Now, does it necessarily mean you have to redesign your website? No, it doesn't mean that.
Good.
It means that you have to be able to blog. And I've been doing a whole test on a whole piece in the last couple weeks that's been really interesting is when you do your social media post. And back in the day, we used to always talk about doing those social media posts, and that when you do a blog, it should be 800, 1,500 words and all those pieces. I've been taking the same thing that gets posted on social media and putting it into blogs, and it's getting picked up.
Really?
So if you are
So
doing
even the
that,
smaller pieces.
yep, because it's real. It's something that's having that conversation. So it's
Mm.
not about adding extra work. It's making sure that you're utilizing that information. So if you're going to post that information to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, why aren't you posting that to your website at the same time?
Right. Well,
You own
and
that. You own that information. Why aren't you taking control over
Well,
that?
and I think that that's really something a big aha, right? Because blogging used to be so important. I write a blog every week, and I post it and do that, and it's up on the website and all that for content. But it's like the bigger is not always better, right?
Right. No.
The naturalness and the human touch is what people really want to see. That's why shorts are so much more popular because
Yep.
our attention span is quick, right? So, but to have that quick attention span on your website too is a huge miss because I know people post on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and wherever else they go, but they miss their website.
They don't think about the website because they don't think it's enough content there to be able to do anything. And I'm a big believer that everybody should have a YouTube channel. Everybody should go through and record what solution they had. So if you are a plumber, I'll go back to that whole analogy. If you're a plumber and you just solved a problem for someone, you get back in the truck, pull out your phone, record that video of what you just solved. Because somebody else is going to search for that problem. You can then do the whole city page geolocation piece to it because you can say, hey, I was in X city doing this, solving this problem for somebody. And then once you get back, and you publish that over to YouTube, you can pull the transcript from it. You can then have ChatGPT write you a whole blog off of your transcript and write your social media. Well, you just solved all of your marketing really super simple and fast.
That's incredible. And it's doing exactly what you want on your page. But here's the question I have. So we want pages to load really fast. So if we've got all these videos and all these social posts and the guy recording, the plumber recording on his cell phone and it gets on here, is that going to slow the website down and cause problems?
Not if you do it as an actual blog post, because it lives inside of its actual area, so it's its own page.
Got it.
So
Okay, so
keep
your
so keep it
homepage
off of
loads really
keep it off of
quickly.
your main stuff. Don't have it on your main pages, but actually put it inside of your blog.
Okay. And then so that's a secondary or
Yep.
tertiary, third page, fourth page, fifth page in the website. Do you recommend having it actually housed on YouTube, but then you have the link on your page or?
So if you use the embed link from actual YouTube and you put that into your website, you're utilizing their server for it being on YouTube. No different than if you do a podcast and you have it on, on Spotify or whatever. They have those embed links. It puts it in there, puts it into your RSS feed, and it actually will help you inside of your SEO world.
And it looks nice and it loads fast and it's not bogging down your website
Yep.
because, that's a fear with all the stuff that we have to do, right? But I love that is such a juicy way of doing it and saying, look, I just solved this problem. So you're doing the personal touch with it. You're getting the engagement and then the engagement attach it, I mean, it just seems like the spider legs go out off of a post like that.
Well, you end up touching every single point and you get on everywhere instead of just being in one spot, which really helps inside of your SEO standpoint. So when we talk about like our AI SEO pixel or any of that stuff, it's looking for those common pieces. So
Mm.
when you're doing listings with simplybefound.com, just using that as an example, and you're doing your listings there or you're doing your social media using all that, it's all connected. So all of those data points. So you're taking that data and you're turning it into advertising. From the citations piece, you're taking your business name, your phone number, your address, which now they're calling that, and they used to call that NAP. Now they've added a W to it, and they're calling it NAP W because your website is so important. And that's starting to be a thing that I'm starting to see Chat GPT and all these different places talk about. But you have all that data, you have all your keywords, your descriptions, all that stuff. That is making sure you're on all the right networks, which we work with 500 and some networks inside of our network piece.
Right.
And then you have the social media side that allows you to make sure you're in front of everybody with your messaging and talking in a natural language. And then when you tie that to your AI SEO, it ends up going back and it looks at all that data and it puts it all into place to where you can actually turn it into something that's going to help you be able to get found.